Hello guys, my name is Anna and I vlog daily from Ukraine since the start of the brutal Russian invasion. But when I'm travel on business, I always take you with me, and today I'm speaking from Brussels, the heart of the European Union, a very symbolic place, and I hope soon one of the capitals of Ukraine, as a part of the European Union. And if you're new to the channel, you support Ukraine, you want to fight global terrorism and authoritarian regimes worldwide, please join the friendly community of our channel and help us fight war for the protection of democracy, human rights, and everything normal on this planet. And today, my dear subscribers, I'm going to speak in an angry Anna regime. I know many of you like it, and I can help it when I speak about Orban and Xi Jinping. Both so-called leaders met Kremlin goblin criminal Vladimir Putin. And it goes without saying that after a year and a half of war in Ukraine, seeing all the crimes, seeing all the atrocities and real terrorist acts in Ukraine, I am so surprised, it's very softly speaking, we have this phrase in Ukrainian, that Vladimir Putin is still treated as a political figure. I remember how at the beginning of the attack, many European leaders were talking about saving Putin's face. And as one of my beautiful subscribers advised, the best way to save Putin's face is to cut it off, put it in formaldehyde and bring it to The Hague. That's the only way I accept saving Putin's face act. Now the majority understood it's impossible to treat him as a political leader, but still the majority do not treat him as one of the main global terrorists, as one of the main criminals. People are looking for solutions, how to legitimize him, or how to make any talks available, or how to, save the situation. It is impossible to save a maniac. It is impossible to save a terrorist. It is impossible to accept him in any political conversations. I do understand people can follow different trends. Some are Democrats, others are Republicans, some are conservative, others are liberal. It's okay, but when we speak of a person that kills people in thousands daily based on their ethnic, cultural background, we are talking about a genocidal maniac similar to Hitler. That's why for me to see him traveling was a very, very, very bad signal. So for the first time since war, he traveled outside the borders of the ex-Soviet Union and came to China. China is a big country that demonstrates a lot of authoritarian features and closely observes what will happen to Putin, and I'm sure that many of their future moves are based on the way the democratic world is able to counterfight Putin's terrorism. If we fail, believe me, this is not the way to appease China, it's the way to inspire China and other authoritarian regimes to attack territories, countries that they consider belong to their zones of influence. Please, if you love democracy, subscribe. Please, if you share my opinion that it is not okay to define something as your zone of influence. The world is a place where we all have borders. These borders were internationally fixed, and we have to respect that. Every country going deeper into its history can find some things that are not perfect. We would like to move 20 meters that way, 3 kilometers that way, but this will cause instant conflicts, instant wars, instant death. That's not what we want. That's why at a certain period of history we all agreed these are internationally recognized borders and we have to respect them. This is what we repeated in Budapest Memorandum and forgot when Putin decided he wants to edit the world and does it in a very violent terrorist way. So he spoke for 2.5 hours with the president of China, who is also an authoritarian leader. They were speaking about deepening their relations. They were speaking about more economic cooperation, and there were phrases like, we have to help Russia in this world of injustice, political discrimination. Putin is a killer. a killer of thousands, not only in Ukraine. And believe me, he invests a lot in wars and conflicts globally, and China likes that. What is dangerous, because it seems to me that both versions, Russia wins over Ukraine, a tragedy, Russia loses to Ukraine, good. Both variants are okay for China. Somehow they managed to find this safe place for the future expansion, and I think it's going to be really slow. But okay, we all know China is a communist country. They had long-term connections with Soviet Union. They love the idea of Putin as the reconstructor of the Soviet Union. That all works really well for them. But Orban, well, I know he is just one of a kind of those goblins, but he is the leader of the country that is a part of the European Union, guys. And when you enter European Union, you are supposed to follow the standards of the Union. Not just because you have signed the papers, but because you've got lots of benefits, lots of political, financial, infrastructural support. And that's all what Hungary gets. But at the same time, it pushes terrorist Russian narratives. And that is not okay. And there is even a photo of them shaking hands. And this is the leader of the European Union. I know many will tell, don't equate Orban to Hungary and its people. And I know I have many good subscribers from these countries. My condolences for having such a leader. But what about the European Union? Shouldn't it react? And I'm asking that sitting here in Brussels. So please, I believe it's an obligation of a union to react, because it's not just about buying something from Russia, which would definitely go against sanctions and all the rules, but it is actually about shaking hands with Putin, and his hands, not just his hands, you know, we have this phrase, his hands are all in blood. All Putin is in blood, and like thousands and millions of Russians are covered with the blood of innocent civilians in Ukraine, of children. You have seen everything. You have seen Bucha, you have seen Mariupol, you have seen Kupiansk. This happens daily because Putin decided so. And here we have the leader of the European country that has all the benefits of being a part of the European Union. Ukraine is not allowed to, but Hungary is allowed. And the leader of this country, an official representative of this country, shakes hand with the greatest terrorist of the 21st century. Explain to me, how is it possible? If you have any ideas that can explain that, and I'm not being sarcastic, please give me them in comments. I really need that to calm down. I don't know. So these are really negative tendencies, because authoritarian regimes, they support each other, they join, and they fight against all of our values. And the rest of the democratic world, it's good, it's inspiring, it's kind, and it is constantly looking for kind ways to solve the problem when there is no such way. When you fight with pure evil, you have to fight. You cannot talk, you cannot persuade, you cannot take photos or express concerns. You have to stop them, you have to prosecute them, you have to put them in prisons, or if you don't like them, you can kill them. That's what people do with terrorists. That's the only option, speaking from Brussels. Let me know, would you like to have a live chat this Saturday? Give your opinion below in comments, because that's the time I will be back home, and I thought maybe we can speak about my recent trip to Brussels and some updates on the situation in Ukraine and globally. Please check your subscriptions, because I've heard from different channels, and that's what I feel. I have subscribe, unsubscribe, subscribe, unsubscribe. So please do check your subscriptions and hit the button bell if you want to get the updates from Ukraine. If you're new to the channel, join our community and help us fight, because this war is not over yet. And global democracy is in danger. I'm not exaggerating. Believe me, look at what is happening around the planet. Subscribe to my Instagram. There I share some other pieces of information. Join my threads and Twitter. And I have a community on Discord. We have a beautiful website with lots of sweatshirts, hoodies, t-shirts, and all the links that you need are in the description of this video. But most importantly, thank you for all the support, coffees, for your being my patrons, but most importantly for all the kind words, prayers and actions that you do to support Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!